Hi, thank you for joining me on one of the other videos which I'm putting on my YouTube channel. So today I would like to talk about a mechanism for twin formation. This is one of my favorite mechanisms, and this is one of the mechanisms with which a twin can form. So without further ado, let's see what really happens in this case. So if you remember my last video, we talked about dislocations by saying that the solid or a crystal has several of these atomic planes. Atomic planes are basically a construction, and each of this plane are composed of atoms. Now let's look one of these planes, which we will say is closed packed. By closed packed, I mean this. That is, you are taking the atoms and composing this plane such that you are making most efficient use of the space which is available to you. This is a closed packed plane. Now let's call this plane A, and we want to do a closely packed efficient model of stacking these layers such that we have a closely packed dense solid. So you want to repeat these layers such that in 3 dimensions you have a really close pack. Now you can take the same layer and put on top of it. However, in that case you are not really making a good use of space. You are leaving a lot of space here. One obvious way to pack it more efficiently is to put them at the valley positions so that you have more usage of space. However, when we want to do this now on this plane, we have to make a choice. The choice is that we have two particular set of valleys. One is this, which is indicated in this olive green. The other is C positions. So these valley positions are called B, and these valley positions are called C positions. So we can place our atomic plane, again repeat the plane and put them on B positions. Then we will call them as the B plane. Or later what we will do is that we will again stack the same plane, but now on the valley positions of C, which you can see through also on the B. So these valley positions are common to B and also to A. So we can keep our another close pack plane on the C positions. Then you have a stacking of ABC. Now you can follow this pattern such that you can keep on repeating this pattern. That is, you again stack with A layer, which basically means that these atoms are exactly on top of the atoms from A. So when you are doing this, you are achieving a stacking of ABC, 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 which is actually called a stacking sequence, which is used to create a Fcc stacking. Fcc is face-centered cubic, and this is one of the most close packed structures you can get in solids. So let's see another important caveat which is necessary for what we are going to discuss. Now if you look at this our close packed plane, we had two sets of values, which is B and C. The other important thing is there are these directions which are 112 type of directions. These directions are important because there is a partial dislocation which is called which has a Burgers vector like this, which basically means that it moves the atoms for a distance of A over 6, where A is the lattice parameter, in the direction of 1 to 1 in this specific direction. Now most of these partial dislocations have a 112 type of direction, and they move them along A by 6 distances. So knowing these directions is important because if we take our B plane, which is now lying on top of A plane, and we say that a partial dislocation moves on A plane, which means that the B plane which is there will be displaced because of this Burgers vector. That is, it will be displaced along 112 type of directions. So once the dislocation, the partial dislocation has moved through on A plane, the B plane atoms now have to move by this distance. The consequence is that they are moved along 112 direction along by a distance of A by 6. So they are now sitting on the valley positions of C. That is, in effect, you have made the B layer into a C layer. So this is the effect of a stacking, this is an effect of a partial dislocation gliding through your A plane, which has essentially converted your B plane into a C plane. Now what does this mean? Let's take our original stacking of FCC, which is ABC, 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 and then along the C plane, let's glide one of these partials. When we do so, the top A plane should go to B positions, the B plane should go to C positions, C plane should go to A, and so on. Now we can repeat this, but now we glide our partial dislocation on top of this B plane. When we do that, B will remain B because the gliding is happening on top of B. However, whatever planes are here, they would move by one step, which means C would go to A would go to B would go to C, and so on. We can continue to repeat this exercise. That is, after this, we try to glide a partial dislocation A, which means our A plane will remain same because glide is now happening on top of this. The rest will change their stacking positions, now B to C, C to A, and so on. Again, we can further do this exercise, saying that dislocation is now moving on top of C, which means that the C plane will remain same. However, whatever is on top of it has to move by a certain by one step to a new stacking position. So A becomes B, B becomes C, and so on. We can continue to do so, and let's say that our partial dislocations have gone through each of these glide planes, and then our final stacking sequence is something like this. So important thing to remember is that these partial dislocations have gone through each of them one at a time, right? So what is the result of this? Now if you look at the original stacking where you had ABC, 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 now this new stacking, what's happening is that from our first original glide plane, the stacking has completely changed. Instead of ABC, you have BAC, BAC, and BAC. What does this mean? If you look closely, it's as if on the C plane you have kept a mirror, because above the C plane you have BAC, BAC stacking, and below the C plane you have again BAC, BAC stacking. This we call it as a twin, and this plane is basically a twinning plane, and this is just one of the mechanisms by which a twin can form. So thank you for listening.